Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 5 days since Devi's horribly ravaged body was found at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital in Calcutta. More details have emerged that are raising serious questions over the hospital, the Kolkata police and the state government. Today, the thousands of doctors who have hit the streets for the second day in a row in their white coats finally have some solace in their fight for their fallen comrade. One of their key demands has been met. The investigation will now be done by the CBI, not Mamata Banerjee's government or police. Today, the High Court has delivered possibly the most stinging slap on the face of the Mamata Banerjee government, showing zero faith in either the Kolkata police or the administration of the RG Kar Medical College. They have ordered the transfer of investigations to the CBI. Remember, the Chief Minister had claimed yesterday that she would transfer the probe to the CBI only by Sunday, and that too if the Kolkata police failed to make any headway. This had prompted the parents of this young doctor to move to the Calcutta High Court, claiming that the Kolkata police was looking to buy time to cover up their tracks in this case. Embarrassingly for Mamata Banerjee, the court agreed, pointing out that since there has been no significant progress in the last 5 days, there is every possibility of evidence being destroyed and witnesses being influenced. The bottom line, the CBI takes over the case at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've spoken about this. The High Court's order makes perfect sense given that this case has been riddled with disturbing inconsistencies and missteps by both the hospital and the police. Let me remind you of them. At the outset, the assistant superintendent at the RG Kar Hospital had rushed to call this a suicide, casting serious doubts on this investigation. Remember, the first call that went from the hospital to the parents had claimed that your daughter has died by suicide. Her body is riddled with injury marks. She has almost no clothes on. Which person, leave alone a doctor, in their right mind will call the parents and say this was a suicide? Therefore, the question, was the hospital trying a cover-up? The hospital's principal even failed to file a formal complaint and kept the family in the dark initially, as I said, going on to even tell their daughter that she had died of suicide. Isn't this basic? One of your own students has clearly been raped and murdered, possibly gang raped as well. And neither does the principal or the college file a complaint. Don't you find that odd, ladies and gentlemen? I do. Also, there is blatant victim blaming. The disgraced former principal of RG Kar had initially questioned why the victim was alone at night. She's a doctor on night duty. To make matters worse, the seminar hall's CCTV cameras were conveniently not functioning. The seminar hall is where the brutality took place between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. 2 hours. Can you imagine what this girl went through, ladies and gentlemen? For a moment, imagine what this girl went through for 2 hours. This doctor, a trainee doctor who was on night duty, had served patients, exhausted, goes to the seminar room, is in deep sleep, gets attacked, raped and brutalized there, then throttled and smothered to death. And in the seminar hall, very conveniently, there are no CCTV cameras functioning. The Kolkata police have much to answer for as well. For starters, how was the prime accused allowed to parade around as a cop for 5 years without their knowledge? Despite signs pointing to a gang rape, the police have only blamed Sanjay Roy, ignoring other possibilities. Delays in summoning key witnesses have added to the suspicion of a possible cover-up, both by the hospital and the Calcutta police. Now, announcing a CBI probe is a step in the right direction. But as we have seen before, it's not a silver bullet to ensure justice. The court has appealed to the doctors across the country who continue to strike for the second day in a row to come back to work, and even the health minister has tried to assuaged their concerns after meeting an IMA delegation today.
मैं यह भी बताना चाहूँगा कि जिस तरीके से वेस्ट बंगाल की सरकार ने इस केस को हशप करने की कोशिश की, दबाने की कोशिश की और जनता के आंखों में धूल झोंकने की कोशिश की है, मैं इसकी भी कड़े शब्दों में निंदा करता हूँ। और हाई कोर्ट के द्वारा जो सीबीआई की इंक्वायरी मानी गई है, उसके लिए मैं हाई कोर्ट के निर्णय का स्वागत करता हूँ और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि सीबीआई इंक्वायरी में दूध का दूध, पानी का पानी होगा, सच्चाई सामने आएगी।
Ladies and gentlemen, there's big news coming to us from Calcutta. There's a sensational twist to the RG Kar rape and murder case. A doctor, his name is Dr. Subarno Goswami. He's the doctor who's privy to the final post-mortem report of this young doctor, has reflected on the gruesomeness of the murder. He's saying on record that the post-mortem report says, possibly reflects, that this was not rape but a gang rape, as thick fluid of 151 gm approximately was found inside the young doctor's private parts. Listen in to what the doctor is saying.
The report reflects the victim had multiple injuries, abrasions, bruises all over her body, including her private parts, and a huge amount of bleeding from different parts of her body. And that definitely reflects that one man cannot inflict all these injuries. And the samples they collected, the forensic experts collected, it includes more than 150 grams, to be more specific, 151 grams of white, thick, viscid fluid from her inside her vagina. And that seems to be semen. And that huge amount of semen can be ejaculated by multiple men only. It's not one man.
Let me go straight across to my colleague Tapas, who's joining me on the broadcast. Tapas, first things first, I want to ask you who Dr. Subarna Goswami is, the man who is saying, the doctor who is saying that this could possibly be a gang rape and not a rape, and how is he connected to the post-mortem? Is he the doctor who did the post-mortem, or is he someone who's privy to the post-mortem?
Well, Dr. Subarno Goswami is a member of the Doctors Forum and also the additional General Secretary of the Federation for the Government Doctors Association. And he was privy to the report when he visited the residence of the victim girl. And what he stated and narrated was horrifying. He stated in terms of doctors that the kind of brutality that was written on the post-mortem report clearly reflects the gruesomeness of the crime, and also he made it clear that the anatomy report also indicates that the girl was raped and later on she was murdered. And these are the claims of the doctor who went on to see the post-mortem report, and it gives a lot of weight to what the students were demanding, that it was not an handiwork of one person, but there is a possibility of other persons as well, part of a larger conspiracy could be involved. That's what is vindicated by the statement of Dr. Subarno Goswami.
Can I ask you if Dr. Subarno Goswami works for RG Kar Hospital or does he work for any other hospital? And if you can just confirm to us once again that he saw this report, the post-mortem report, at the house of the young doctor's parents, because they have been handed over a copy as well.
Well, yes. But till now, the official report of the PM was handed over to the next of kin of the victim girl, and while visiting their residence, Dr. Goswami was privy along with some other doctors who visited as a part of a solidarity delegation that went to their residence, and he, along with some other doctors, were privy to the post-mortem report, and what he claims is that the post-mortem report clearly reflects that it was not a handiwork of one person, but multiple persons were involved in this crime.
Okay. Very quickly then, the question I asked you, does he work at RG Car or some other place?
Well, he is a government doctor, a government hospital doctor, but he doesn't work for RGCOR. But there is a doctors forum which works in tandem with other doctors union, and he's a part of a senior member of that doctors forum.
Okay, do stay with us, Tapas, because there is more news coming in. There are more question marks, honestly, on the hospital administration because another row is erupting over what happened at the RG Car Medical College and what is happening now. Now, the BJP, you're looking at these pictures, ladies and gentlemen, the BJP is claiming that there is renovation work which is currently underway, which is just meters away from the scene of the crime, which is the seminar room. Now, they are saying this is a deliberate attempt to erase evidence. Now, Mirror Now's team has confirmed that this renovation has been going on. It had started before this horrible crime took place, and it has been going on even after the incident was reported on Friday morning. Tapas, can you confirm that to us? Because that's absolutely shocking and horrifying. You know, one understands if these pictures are from Thursday. So if you can confirm to us whether these pictures are from Thursday or whether they are from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, possibly. Because if there is renovation work that is going on next to a crime scene, that is almost like tampering with evidence.
Well, see, the video was captured today, but the work we have been given to understand by the authorities here that was ongoing even before the crime took place. We are yet to verify that because the doctors are also not very sure as to when this work started. But the larger question remains that when you have such a sensitive case, which has created such an uproar across the nation, how come the government or the hospital administration allow civil work in progress in a room which is meters away, maybe 10-15 meters away from the place of occurrence, the seminar hall where this brutal crime took place? That have raised question. BJP is continuously raising that question. Doctors are raising that question, that is it a deliberate attempt to tamper with the evidences? But we are yet to hear anything official from the health department or the hospital authorities. Back to you.
Okay. Tapas, can I Tapas, my last question to you is this. Was this renovation work going on today as well? Because these pictures are from today. Was it on today as well?
Well, today morning we were given to understand by doctors that today morning renovation work was on, but while the video was shot, the renovation work was not happening at that place. But even though the work was happening in the morning or yesterday, even that raises question that should have been stopped given the gravity of the case that the hospital authorities are dealing with. So that is what the BJP raising question about.
Tapas, it's not just the BJP. I think every right-thinking citizen will be raising these questions this evening. Tapas, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. First, the fact this is a fact that the Kolkata police has not even spoken about. The possibility that this was not just a rape, this was a gang rape. I'm not saying it. A doctor who has looked at the post-mortem report at the house of the parents of this young doctor is saying it. He's saying that the bruises on her body, the amount of semen found in her vagina, clearly seems to suggest it was more than one man. The Kolkata police has not even spoken about it. Not even raised the possibility, not even investigated the possibility. Secondly, very importantly, something as brutal as this has happened in your hospital. Look at what you're doing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you are allowing renovation work to happen barely meters away from the crime scene. Barely meters away. What does this tell us? That you're trying to tamper with evidence, or you simply don't take very seriously what has happened in your own premise with one of your own doctors. Little wonder, ladies and gentlemen, that resident doctors wearing white coats who have been out striking work for the last 2 days are refusing to end their strike. Not in Calcutta and certainly not in Delhi. Nikhil Lakhwani, you're joining us from the Safdarjung Hospital. Can you ask people who are with you, why is it that they are refusing to end their strike despite the fact that a CBI inquiry has been ordered?
So, Shreya, we are currently in conversation with some of the senior and the junior doctors as well. And joining us is Dr. Kusum in the very first place. Ma'am, the first question is to you. When the strike is going to end? Because on one side, the strike continues to take place. On another side, there are the patients who are facing the brunt of the same.
Look, this incident which has happened is such a brutal thing. So until we are getting our demand fulfilled, we are not going to end the strike. Because we cannot ignore this. We are already ignoring the beating of the doctors and long working hours and less paid. But this is like something which is unacceptable, totally unacceptable. I need to be felt safe when I'm working here without any fear of getting raped or getting murdered or getting beaten up.
डॉक्टर कुसुम मैं एक चीज आपसे और पूछूंगा स्ट्राइक तो ठीक है चल ही रही है अभी तक कॉल ऑफ नहीं हुई है एक तरफ हाई कोर्ट ने सीबीआई इंक्वायरी के लिए दे दिया है वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन हेल्थ मिनिस्टर के साथ हो रहा है उन्होंने कहा जो आप लोग का सेंट्रल हेल्थ केयर वो वाला सिस्टम है सीपीए वाला उसको भी एक वर्बल अश्योरेंस दिया है क्या ये इनफ है इनफ नहीं है जिस तरीके से इन्वेस्टिगेशन अभी तक हुई है क्या वर्ड आप लोग के एंड से रिएक्शन निकल गया
नो आई हैव जस्ट टॉक्ड विद माय प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ द आरडीए ही हैज टोल्ड मी दैट जो सेंट्रल प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट जो हमने डिमांड किया है अभी तक उस पर कुछ भी नहीं बोला गया है so it is not fulfilled. Yes, CBI inquiry they have started, which is very good. We are very much happy with that. But yes, Central Protection Act it is to be needed. अभी उसके लिए कुछ भी assurance नहीं मिली है हमें.
ठीक है. Shreya, we are joined by some other resident doctors as well. They are the junior doctors and they see the situation very up and close. Dr. तान्या, आप मुझे बताइए जिस तरीके से प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है कई दिनों से प्रोटेस्ट होता जा रहा है आसान नहीं है प्रोटेस्ट करना भी है ना ये इक्वली डिफिकल्ट है स्पेशली दिल्ली में जो टोरेंशियल वेदर है किस तरीके से आप चीजें आगे जाते हुए देख रहे हैं
देखिए सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि चाहे कैसा भी वेदर हो चाहे कैसी भी कंडीशन हो जो क्राइम हुआ है वो बहुत हीनियस क्राइम है और अगर 1% भी कोई किसी भी चीज को छुपाने की कोशिश कर रहा है तो हम ऐसा नहीं होने देंगे हम सड़कों पर उतरेंगे हम पीसफुल प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं अभी तक हम चाहते हैं सरकार हमारी बातों को सुने अगर चांसेस हैं कि मल्टीपल लोगों ने क्राइम किया है तो फिर आपने एक को पकड़कर आप शांत बैठ गए आपने कह दिया उसने अपना क्राइम मान लिया विद इन 1 आवर वो रेडी भी है कि आप उसको डेथ सेंटेंस कर दे दो क्या जनता को समझ नहीं आता क्या चल रहा है अगर मल्टीपल अक्यूज्ड हैं तो फिर उन सभी को पकड़ा जाना चाहिए ट्रांसपेरेंसी होनी चाहिए क्यों वो लोग सीसीटीवी फुटेज शेयर नहीं कर रहे वेस्ट बंगाल के सभी लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं कि आप सीसीटीवी फुटेज को शेयर करो क्यों उस फुटेज को छुपा रहे हैं अगर उसमें कुछ नहीं है तो शेयर कर दीजिए ना क्यों आपको हमेशा एक वो रखना होता है कि नहीं हम सिस्टम के नीचे सब कुछ दबा देंगे ऐसे नहीं होता
ठीक है वी आर ज्वाइंड बाय सम अदर डॉक्टर्स एज वेल एज अ वुमेन डॉक्टर इज देयर अ पॉइंट वेयर यू हैव फेल्ट अनसेफ स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग द लेट नाइट आवर्स और द लेट नाइट शिफ्ट इन पर्टिकुलर
ऑफ कोर्स जैसे अभी हमारी तो नहीं हुई लेट नाइट शिफ्ट एज सच बट हम सुनने में आता है कि जब भी कोई फीमेल डॉक्टर लेट नाइट शिफ्ट के लिए जा रही है देन वो हमेशा एकदम थोड़ा सा ऐसे स्केयर रहती है कि क्या पता कोई फॉलो ना कर रहा हो क्या पता कोई देख रहा हो मतलब
okay so this is the word and this is the concern so to say Shreya which is coming in from all those women doctors and these are all the women doctors not just the junior doctors in fact the senior doctor like Kusum as well have spoken on the same they have their concerns and what we have been given to understand by far that until their demands are met until the CPA comes into force till that time they are not going to end their strike. Back to you.
You know, there is something called Kana Purti, and what is the Kana Purti that has happened? 5 days after what happened in Calcutta happened, the government of India has woken up and issued directives to all government hospitals on how to make their campuses safe. Seriously? Seriously? And you've issued these directives, which are directives that have probably been issued over and over again for the last 50 years. Have you made any attempt or effort to see whether government hospitals are even complying with these directives? Which is why one perfectly understands the anger and the deep suspicion of the system by everyone on the streets this evening. Thank you very much, Nikhil. We'll leave it there for the moment. Radhika Bhattacharya Shah is spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Shantanu Sen is national spokesperson of the TMC. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai is chairperson of the Nephron Clinic. Yashovardhan Azad, the former IPS officer. And Dr. Shazia Zaidi is a doctor. She's an ex-resident of the Lal Bahadur Shastri Hospital in Delhi. Ava Singh is a lawyer. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us. I think the first question obviously should go to Dr. Shantanu Sen. I wonder whether he's with us or not. Is Dr. Shantanu Sen with us? All right, Dr. Shantanu Hussain has not been patched. I believe it's raining in Calcutta. We are being told, he's telling us that his signal is not very good. I do certainly hope that he joins us, because the administration has a lot of questions to answer. But Radhika Bhattacharya, I want to ask you why the BJP is saying that there is a cover-up underway. What is it that tells you with authority that there is a cover-up underway?
Shreya, everything that happens in West Bengal is a cover-up. From their corruption to their the despotic management of the state, to this terrible incident which has raised the country's consciousness. Today, it is not just the daughter of West Bengal that doctors all over the country or the people of this nation are reacting to. She is the daughter of India who has been gang raped. BJP is not making any political statements. BJP is only reacting to what their entire nation is saying. None of us are fools, Shreya, that nobody understands about what has been happening in government hospitals in West Bengal, and this rogue doctor, Sanjeev Bagai, who has been appointed and reappointed by the West Bengal administration, obviously for sinister reasons. This man's corruption is well known. Today, students are coming up to say that they suspect the involvement of an intern with political connections in Bengal. Today, people are not asking questions about this fellow who has been arrested and taken away, Sanjay Ghosh. He's just a cover-up.
No.
We have to look at this in the larger picture of what else might be happening at other places.
There's another conspiracy theory. ठीक. Okay, Radhika Bhattacharya Shah, there is another conspiracy theory that you have floated, that there is someone who's politically connected who was involved in this rape, possibly gang rape. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, there are questions I want to ask the TMC right now. Unfortunately, the TMC spokesperson is not patched. I hope as hell that he does get patched, because honestly, today they are the ones who need to answer questions. They are the ones on whom serious questions have been raised by the Kolkata High Court. So, Dr. Shantanu Sen, please do join us. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, yesterday we had part of the postmortem report. Today we have the entire postmortem report. Today we also have a doctor who has been privy to this postmortem report. And he's saying, he's a pathologist, and he's saying, given the nature of injury all across her body, given the amount of semen in her vagina, given the fact that her eyes have been bleeding, her private parts were bleeding, there is no way that this could have been rape. This is gang rape. Do you believe that? And do you believe then there is a cover-up? Or at least there was a cover-up that was attempted by this college initially, which called the parents and said, aapki beti ne suicide kar liya hai.
Good evening, everyone. And again, like I said yesterday on your same show, my prayers and condolences for the family who lost a daughter. India has lost a daughter. Indian healthcare system has lost a daughter. 4 important points. Barbaric, savage, unacceptable crime, deserving the maximum punishment. Point number 2, hospital lacking in infrastructure to protect, to secure CCTV cameras or security guards, whatever you call as standard operating protocols. Point number 3, the principal is equally culpable. Imagine there are 2 important things, Shreya. Just allow me 60 seconds more. There are 2 important things in healthcare. One is trust of the healthcare. Patients, nurses, doctors, everyone has to trust the institution. This gentleman has abolished the trust. 2 is respect for the women and the young doctors. This gentleman has abolished that too. How can a person be rehabilitated within 24 hours? How can a person tell the family that it's a suicide? Coming to the question of whether there is one person involved in this crime or more than one, very clearly, according to me, this is my personal view, I have not seen the autopsy report, there will be more than one. I'm not going into the medical aspects of it because it's not appropriate on national television, but the amount of fluid which is found in the private parts, much more than even 2 or 3 or 4 people. And maybe they've taken multiple rounds and ravaged this young girl. My heart bleeds to say what probably these hooligans would have done to this girl. Unarmed, resting after long hours of duty. This is what happens in a workplace. and the parents are not allowed to meet to see the dead body. This is a complete cover-up. You can't have construction work happening right next door. This is not, the crime scene is not being sanitized. It's not being secured. If the crime scene is being compromised, your evidence is going to be tampered. That's exactly the reason I said yesterday, 7 days is too long. Whatever the evidence needs to be found is going to be long gone. It's going to evaporate, it's going to vanish. I'm very happy that the CBI is stepping in tomorrow, and I'm extremely happy that the Calcutta High Court has taken strong action. Mamata Banerjee herself, I never follow the path of politics. Mamata Banerjee herself should be answerable. This is wrong what has happened. This is unacceptable. This is worse than animal-like behavior there.
Dr. Shantanu Sen, national spokesperson of the TMC. Forget what the BJP is saying. For a moment, if you want, you can even forget what the good doctor who's completely apolitical, Dr. Bagai, is saying on the show. Dr. Shantanu Sen, why should we not believe that there was a cover-up, at least to begin with, as far as this rape and murder is concerned? And now there are people coming out and saying that this was possibly a gang rape, not a simple rape. Why should we not believe that there was not a cover-up?
First of all, strongly condemning this brutal incident once again from the bottom of my heart, along with the entire nation. I must tell you that on the very day of incident, Chief Minister Madam Mamata Banerjee came before camera and she has categorically said that not a single culprit will be spared. Fast-track investigation will take place, and if possible and if needed, capital punishment should be given. And let me tell you, in our state, in last few decades, so far the Trinamool Congress government is concerned, in no such incident there was no intention to hide any documents or whatever. And whenever any accused was found, he has been given stringent action. And even if he has got some connection with the ruling party, he was not spared. This type of action can never be seen in the other part of the country. So once again, I can ensure you that there was no intention of tampering of evidence.
Dr. Sen,
and now
let's leave the cliches aside. Please tell me, is it a tight slap on the face of the West Bengal government, its administration and its police, that the Calcutta High Court didn't trust you to do an honest job of this investigation and gave it to the CBI?
No, that's a separate issue.
That lack of trust, which the students on the streets across India have shown, that lack of trust is something that the Calcutta High Court has also displayed to say that aapse na ho paega.
That's a separate topic you're talking about. So far the CBI is concerned, on the very first day, Chief Minister Madam herself said, if anyone wants to have investigation to be done by any other agency, I don't have any objection because I don't have to hide anything. And even yesterday, after meeting the family of the bereaved family, he once again said that I am giving time to the police till Sunday. If they cannot complete the investigation, then I myself will hand it over to CBI.
If her heart was bleeding for this girl, Dr. Shantanu Sen, if Mamata Banerjee and the administration's heart was bleeding for this girl, I wonder why the principal of RG Car, under whose watch one of his own doctors, trainee doctors, is brutally raped, possibly gang raped, and then killed inside the hospital while she was on night duty, he puts in his resignation and he is rehabilitated within 4 hours by the government to another medical college.
That's absolutely an administrative decision.
For who is your heart bleeding?
That's absolutely an administrative decision.
Then please explain to me, why should we believe that this administration's heart is bleeding for a principal under whose watch a gruesome crime has been committed instead of the girl who is now dead? Whose side are you on, Dr. Sen? Whose side is the administration on?
Kindly allow me to complete my answer. It is an absolutely administrative decision, and I am not a part of administration. On this particular issue of reinstating principal to another medical college within 4 or 5 hours, I cannot answer your question.
Okay. You cannot answer my question. I'm glad you're being honest. Before I go to my other panelists, I want an honest response from you on this as well, Dr. Shantanu Sen. I wish your frame was better, but I understand there is traffic on the streets of Calcutta and this is the best you can do. But Dr. Shantanu Sen, there are pictures from the RG Kar hospital today where barely meters away from the crime scene, there is renovation work that is going on. This is a crime scene and there is renovation work going on right outside it. What should the nation believe when they see these pictures? Why should we believe that there is no attempt to cover up?
I have also seen it in the media. I have to cross-check whether this was an ongoing process of renovation or it has started newly. Until and unless I get the proper information, I think I must not put forward anything. I must not comment upon any such issue in which I don't have proper information.
Okay, Yashovardhan Azad, you're a former IPS officer. Just tell us, when we see these pictures, what should we think to ourselves? 1 minute, Dr. Bagai, 1 minute. Let Yashovardhan Azad come in. With your extensive police experience, please tell us what we should believe when we see these hospital pictures. My reporter is telling me that till this morning there was renovation work going on there, and it's barely meters away from the seminar hall, which is the scene of the crime.
Off the cuff, I cannot say that if it's an attempt to cover up. You see, the scene of crime, actually, there's a perimeter which is drawn around the scene of crime. And it depends how extensive the perimeter can be or how not. In this case, if it is the construction is going on inside the seminar hall, it's wrong. If it is in immediate proximity, I suppose the perimeter should be extending to that. However, whatever had happened, there should be no construction immediately then, because that crime scene is going to be visited again and again. In that respect, it could be carelessness, it could be negligence, but cover up a little difficult because, the cops are already there. What has happened has happened. The other point which I want to say is that no matter what the ASP said or anybody said, the question is, once the body like this is inspected, it's clear that it's crime. Nobody can hide it, no matter what they do. It has to be done. Third, you see the postmortem report, which is there, and I'm very happy this video recording was done. So in that, clarity comes, and I had said it yesterday also, it doesn't look that it can be the work of one man, and that was only after the brutal injuries. In that respect, that ASP who talked about suicide should be dismissed. I totally agree. The principal is guilty on one more count, and that is much more serious, that the activities of this civic volunteer became known in the college of the shenanigans and what he was trying to do. In that respect, he did not take a firm hand. He did not write the police to dismiss him. The second man who should be dismissed is the security officer. A girl on duty, a doctor who deserves, privacy, security in the seminar room itself, if she's raped, then I don't know what the hospitals are doing about safety and security of doctors. And let me tell you another thing, the last point. Institutionally, there are a lot of gaps in the security and administration of the government hospitals, even in Delhi. I know because my brother's is in AIMS. And, the kind of things which happen, the doctors are under such pressure. They don't even have good offices. They don't have good attached toilets. And there is such a lot of pressure that the last thing is that you can't give them insecurity, especially to the lady doctors. In that respect, there are very serious questions to answer. But in this case, Shreya, let me tell you one thing, that it's not that the officers would not have known that is a case of gang rape. The question is, if you announce immediately also, it gives an opportunity. We do not announce for 2-3 days, because let the criminals not know, immediately they make their escape. And in the interrogation itself also, it would be coming up. But as I said yesterday, that the case should be handed over to the CBI, and I'm happy this has been done.
But the fact is that you don't call the parents and say your daughter has died by suicide. I understand you're saying don't announce it to the world that this is gang rape, even if you have information and all evidence that it is, because you don't want to alert the other criminals, the other rapists. But Dr. Azad, 5 दिन हो गए हैं.
Yeah, the
एक
principal,
आदमी पकड़ा गया है.
principal, security officer, ASP, whoever talked about, they should be dismissed straight away. Action should be taken against them because this is absolutely not only callous, this is a crime.
Dr. Zaidi, you've heard students in Delhi who are still on strike. You've heard from the TMC spokesperson. Give us platitudes. Yes. When you hear all of this, do you ever feel कि कुछ सुधरेगा? Because yesterday I was talking about Mamsi that happened 20 years ago at the Maulana Azad Medical College, one of India's premier medical colleges. Here in the national capital, in broad daylight, at knife point, a resident doctor was raped. So much hangama. The same pictures had played out then as well. All resident doctors on strikes. Everyone across India striking work to say, make our hospitals safer. When you hear all the platitudes, when you hear everything that is being said, when you see the new evidence that has come out, what do you think to yourself? Do you just shake your head and say nothing is going to change in this country? That doctors will continue to be unsafe, continue to be raped, beaten up, chased and stoned?
Yes. Unfortunately, I was just saying that you were asking the resident doctors on duty at Suffolk Hospital and everywhere that why are they still not ending the strike even if the case has been handed to the CBI? I mean, obviously we rest assured that this case would be solved, the criminals would be, I mean, still there is hope that this case will be solved, but what for the future? Like you said, this has happened in the past, this is going to happen again. I mean, ma'am, if I could just take 2 minutes, I want to tell you what exactly goes through the mind of a young resident doctor who has just successfully, cleared the country's most difficult examination, or the second most difficult examination after the UPSC. Is a brilliant mind, is a hard-working person, and who's just entered a government hospital setup, which, ma'am, if you ask any junior resident like me, will echo my words, is actually a furnace. It's an unequipped, poor infrastructure hospital, and this young doctor is a face to this government's faults. And ma'am, till when? I mean, I really want to understand a country where every year taxes are rising, taxes are multiplying tenfold. Till when? I mean, when will this government start working on the basics of infrastructure in Delhi government or in any, country's government schools and country's government hospitals? I mean, safety, security in the hospital. This was a girl who was on duty, and she was on government duty, ma'am. This was not a private hospital. She was on government duty. I mean, you are correct that we will not be okay. We will not be okay till the promises for future are fulfilled. Till we feel that the hospitals are safe to work. Till we feel that we are equipped. I mean, it's not just about rape. Even our male colleagues are brutally assaulted. Why? Because we are the faces of poor infrastructure in a government hospital when everybody in the country is paying good amount of taxes and it's completely just rising every year. So, ma'am, the strikes will not end till the future is secured. It's not just about one case anymore.
Dr. Zaidi, can I then ask you, the government of India, via its ministry, has put out a list of to-dos, as it were, for government hospitals to make it safer. But it's generic सी, बहुत generic सी एक list है. Let there be lighting, let there be this, let there be this. Do you think this is kana purti? Likha padi, as they say. Oh, it's been 5 days. The media has been screaming about this story. It's been on the headlines. We need to be seen to be doing something. Chalo, let us issue some guidelines, random guidelines. So what if government colleges and medical colleges follow it or not? कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. At least हमने headline लेने के लिए, media attention लेने के लिए बोल दिया that we have issued these guidelines.
Yes, ma'am, we feel so because we've seen that in the past. Like you just stated, an incident of Maulana Azad Medical College a few years ago. This is the second incident. We've seen it in the past, and we still feel that, till we are out on the streets. I mean, it is so sad that a hard-working community who is actually the face of saving lives in hospitals has left their services and is out on the streets. They are out on the streets because now they are done with and they are frustrated. They are frustrated to a limit that we cannot work anymore. And so, I mean, we still feel and we are very sure that this incident will be forgotten again, and therefore channels like you and people like you have to reinforce these points that you're stating again and again into this government's head, that this will not stop and we will not get back to work properly till we feel secure.
Public memory is short. Today itself, there was some arm twisting by the All India Institute of Medical Sciences asking their resident doctors to come back to classes and file their attendance. and said that there will be disciplinary action taken if you keep protesting. So this is what colleges, medical colleges and governments do to suppress the voice of dissent. And yet those voices are strong enough and on our screens. Abha Singh, I'm coming to you. You're a senior lawyer. I'm coming to you because I've had multiple chats with you when the Nirbhaya case was underway as well. Abha ji, zara bataiye. How many years did it take for Nirbhaya's rapists to hang? 11 years? After Tariq pe Tariq and Chakkar pe Chakkar of various courts, top to bottom, trial court, high court, Supreme Court. Despite the case being fast-tracked, it took 11 years for Nirbhaya's rapists to hang. What is the hope in this case?
Shreya, you are very right. ये 11 साल की वजह से ही इस तरह के rapists, they are emboldened and they commit such gruesome offences with impunity. In fact, in a government hospital, if this civic volunteer could rape this girl, kill her. I am not talking about it's a gang rape or one person has raped, but the bigger issue is that such a brutal, gruesome rape and committed in the government premises clearly shows that there is no fear of the law. Even after Nirbhaya, if we have got the death penalty, but because it takes 11 years, 10 years, you will go from one court to the other. You need patience, perseverance to get justice in this country, and that is the reason such type of rapes keep happening. But my another question is that when you know that these doctors have to do night duties, why is there not a restroom for female doctors? Why did this resident doctor had to go to the seminar room to sleep? That the principal needs to answer. The medical secretary of the state needs to answer, because ultimately it is an IAS officer who sits as a medical secretary, and he's the one who looks after all these things, and he takes the meeting. Why should not the principal have been suspended for not providing a restroom for these doctors? Had this girl been in a restroom, I'm sure she would not have been raped or murdered. So this is what we need to talk about. I don't want to say Congress, BJP, but the bigger issue is we have to hit the nail on the head that how this rape is happening. We got death penalty and yet it is not sufficient to scare the rapists. So there is something badly wrong. And yes, I empathize with the doctors that you have on one hand you have issues of safety, security, or on the other hand, you have patients and their relatives beating up these poor doctors because they are dissatisfied with the medical facilities, or if some death has happened which is not due to the fault of the doctors. So definitely a law needs to be brought in that doctors are made safe on general issues also, and also for women doctors, because if this resident doctor was there in the hospital for 32 hours, then why was there not safety, security provided for her? And the last point is that these civic police volunteers, they were started in 2013 by Mamata Banerjee government, and without any police verifications, without any training, how they are called civic police volunteers? He was sleeping in the police barrack. He had the police ID cards through which I'm sure he managed to go to the hospital late in the night. So, and also not only that, these civic volunteers are given a salary of 8,000. How has the law been defined in this? If a cop is there on duty, he can face disciplinary action. No. But these are civilians, and these are party workers who are made civic volunteers.
I'm clear about two things.
I want this, who started this policy, they should also be hanged.
I'm very clear about two things. A government doctor has been brutalized, raped and murdered, and the person who's done it is a government employee because he's drawing a salary of 12,000 rupees from the government of Calcutta. I'm very clear about that. What I'm also very clear about is that there needs to be an FIR against the principal of this medical college as well. It's clear, Dr. Bagai, it's very clear that he is being protected by the government of Mamata Banerjee. He puts in his resignation. While putting in his resignation, what is the reason for his resignation? You heard the soundbite yesterday. What does he say? He says, there is a media campaign against me. I'm being maligned, and therefore I am resigning. And there is a big political conspiracy to remove me, which is why all of this has happened. Is rape a political conspiracy? ये बोल के यार इनको प्रिंसिपल बनाया किसने और इनको reinstate किसने किया?
Couple of important points. I think we as humans have failed. We have failed to protect the people who have worked for 12 to 15 years after school, high school, for 18, 20 hours every day. I request anyone not only in who's watching this program, but otherwise in India, live a life of one day of a training resident doctor, and you'll understand the stress which we go through to reach this level. This gentleman was reinstated wrong.
Okay.
This gentleman did not follow a standard operating protocol for security and protection of the doctors wrong. This gentleman, while sitting in the car on day one when he resigned, apart from the fact that he put the blame on the media that it's a malicious campaign, said that everything possible to prevent this was being done wrong. He said that it is in a department, so it was unavoidable. He used the word unavoidable. So is rape unavoidable? Is this man worthy of any post? And then he lies to the parents to say that it's a suicide. This is all wrong. And who's covering it up?
Shame.
Obviously, it is the local government. Over to you.
It's a shame. And I'm very clear about one thing. It is not just one man who raped this young 31-year-old trainee doctor. It is a lethargic, callous, and indifferent system that has gang raped her. I think we should all be very clear about that. Radhika Bhattacharya Shah, thank you very much. It's a story we continue to track here on Mirror Now. We have not given up. Dr. Shantanu Sen, you've taken our questions, yet not said much. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, thank you very much. Yashwardhan Azad, thanks for your time. Dr. Shazia Zaidi, thank you very much. And Abha Singh, thank you very much.